When technology billionaire Elon Musk walks into Judge Beatrice Thorwald's courtroom without a lawyer to defend himself in a high-stakes patent battle, she can't help but laugh. After 30 years on the bench, she's seen it all, but never someone so wealthy being so foolish. Little does she know, Musk's fumbling performance is hiding a brilliant legal strategy. As Magnatech's expensive lawyers present their seemingly airtight case, the judge continues to mock Musk's amateur approach. But behind his messy papers and confused demeanor, a trap is being set that will shock everyone in the courtroom, especially the judge who underestimated him. Judge Beatrice Thorwald banged her gavel 3 times. The sound echoed through Courtroom 7 of the San Francisco Federal Building. "The court is now in session," she announced, her voice sharp as a knife. Case number 2025, CV 7842, Magnatech Industries vs. Musk Innovations. Judge Thorwald had spent 30 years on the bench. In that time, she'd seen it all: tech billionaires, movie stars, crooked politicians. None of them scared her. None of them impressed her either. So when Elon Musk walked into her courtroom without a lawyer by his side, she couldn't help the tiny smirk that formed on her lips. Another rich guy who thought the rules didn't apply to him. "Mr. Musk," she said, glancing down at her papers. "My records show you're representing yourself today. Is that correct?" Musk stood up. He wore a simple dark suit, no tie. "Yes, Your Honor." A whisper ran through the courtroom. Even the court reporter raised her eyebrows. "Bold choice," Judge Thorwald said. "Well, let's not waste time. Opening statements, please. Magnatech, you're up first." Dominic Reeves, Magnatech's attorney, approached the bench. He was tall and polished, dressed in an expensive suit with slick gray hair and glasses that probably cost more than most people's cars. "Your Honor," Reeves began, "this case is quite simple. Mr. Musk's company stole our client's revolutionary battery design. We have the patent. We have the proof. By the end of this trial, the facts will speak for themselves." Judge Thorwald nodded. "Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Mr. Musk, your opening statement." Musk walked to the front of the courtroom. He pulled some wrinkled papers from his pocket and dropped one. As he bent to pick it up, someone in the gallery chuckled. Your Honor," he began, his voice quieter than expected. "I'm here because Magnatech is trying to steal what my team created." He shuffled his papers, losing his place. "The battery design in question uses a, special coating that." Musk paused, looking confused. "Sorry, I have some diagrams somewhere." Judge Thorwald couldn't help herself. A small laugh escaped her lips. "Mr. Musk," she said, "this isn't a rocket launch. In my courtroom, we follow proper legal procedure. Do you have your evidence organized and ready to present?" "I think so, Your Honor," he replied, still shuffling papers. The gallery erupted in laughter. Even the bailiff cracked a smile. Judge Thorwald raised her hand for quiet, but her eyes sparkled with amusement. She'd seen this before, wealthy people thinking they could wing it in court without proper preparation. From the plaintiff's table, Dominic Reeves shot Musk a look of smug satisfaction. This was going to be easier than he thought. In the gallery, a young woman with short black hair watched with growing concern. Leia Chen, Musk's head engineer, twisted her hands nervously in her lap. This wasn't going as planned. "Perhaps," Judge Thorwald suggested, not unkindly, "you should have hired an attorney, Mr. Musk. Patent law is complicated. It's not something most people can handle without legal training." "I'll manage, Your Honor," Musk replied, finally organizing his papers. "Very well," the judge said. "Magnatech, please present your case." As Reeves approached with his team of 3 assistants wheeling in carefully organized evidence boxes, Judge Thorwald leaned back in her chair. She caught the eye of her clerk and gave a tiny eye roll. The clerk smiled back knowingly. Reeves set up a sleek digital presentation. "Your Honor, if I may proceed." She nodded. The courtroom lights dimmed, and a crystal-clear slide appeared on the screen. "Magnatech filed this patent on March 15, Reeves began. "As you can see, the design is revolutionary." Judge Thornwald listened attentively, occasionally glancing at Musk. He was taking notes, his face giving nothing away. "Mr. Musk's company began producing an identical design in April," Reeves continued. "The timeline alone proves our case." Throughout the presentation, Musk remained oddly calm. Once, Judge Thornwald caught him staring at a seemingly random point on the courtroom wall. Was he even paying attention? "Mr. Musk," she interrupted. "Are you with us?" "Yes, Your Honor," he replied, blinking as if returning from deep thought. "Good. Because I won't have you wasting this court's time if you're not taking these proceedings seriously." Musk's face reddened slightly, but he nodded. 6 months earlier, the lab hummed with energy. Bright lights reflected off polished metal surfaces as Elon Musk and Leia Chen bent over a workbench. Between them sat a device no bigger than a shoebox. It didn't look special, just a metal case with some wires, but both knew it could change the world. "Run the test again," Musk said, his eyes never leaving the device. Leia tapped on her tablet. The device glowed blue along its edges. "Power output holding at 98% efficiency," she reported, eyes wide. "That's 3 times better than anything on the market." Musk didn't smile. He rarely did when working. But a spark lit his eyes. "If this works at scale, we could power a house for a month on something the size of a brick," he said. "Or a car for 1,000 miles. "We did it," Leia whispered. "We actually did it." That's when Musk's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen and frowned. "Victor Hammond is here," he said. Leia's smile faded. "Magnatech's CEO? Why?" "He wants to talk about a partnership." Musk sighed. "Cover this up. I'll meet him in the conference room." "Are you sure that's wise?" Leia asked. "Magnatech has stolen designs before. Let me worry about that." Musk headed for the door. "Just hide everything important." Victor Hammond was tall and polished, with perfect teeth and a too-firm handshake. "Elon, thanks for seeing me," Hammond boomed. 2 assistants flanked him, tablets in hand. "What can I do for you, Victor?" Musk asked, not bothering with small talk. "I'll get right to it. Magnatech wants to partner with you on energy storage. We have the manufacturing capabilities you lack, and you have the creative spark our engineers sometimes miss." Musk nodded slowly. "Interesting. What did you have in mind?" "A tour today, and then we'll talk details. I'd love to see what you're working on." Hammond smiled like a hungry shark. Musk seemed to consider this. "A quick tour, then. But some areas are off-limits, ongoing research." Of course," Hammond agreed quickly. As they walked through the facility, Musk noticed Hammond lingering in certain areas, his eyes taking in every detail. Once, Musk could have sworn he saw one of Hammond's assistants snap a quick photo when they thought no one was looking. When they reached the main lab doors, Musk stopped. "This area is restricted." Hammond nodded in understanding, but Musk caught the flash of disappointment in his eyes. "Well, I've seen enough to know we could do great things together," Hammond said, extending his hand. "I'll have my people call your people." After Hammond left, Musk went straight to security. "I want all footage of Hammond's visit," he told the head of security. "Every second." That night, Musk replayed the footage in his office. There it was, Hammond's assistant taking photos when Musk's back was turned. Hammond himself peering through a window into the restricted lab when he thought no one was watching. "I knew it," Musk muttered. 2 months later, Leia burst into Musk's office, her face flushed with anger. Magnatech just filed a patent, she said, slapping a printout on his desk, for an energy storage device that uses our nanocoating technology. They stole it, Elon. They stole our design. Musk picked up the papers, scanning them calmly, too calmly. You don't seem surprised, Leia said, studying his face. I'm not. Musk leaned back in his chair. Hammond never called about that partnership. I knew something was up. We have to fight this. Leia exclaimed. Call the lawyers. I already talked to them. Musk stood and walked to the window. They say it'll be tough to prove. Hammond was careful. So we just give up. Leia couldn't believe what she was hearing. I didn't say that. Musk turned, a strange light in his eyes. I'm going to handle this myself. Leia's jaw dropped. You mean, personally? In court? Yes. But Elon, you're not a lawyer. No, he agreed. I'm not. In the weeks that followed, Musk's behavior grew increasingly odd. He cancelled meetings. He disappeared for hours. Once, Leia found him in his office at midnight, surrounded by legal textbooks, scribbling notes in the margins. This is crazy, she said, picking up a book on patent law. We have a legal team for this. They'll expect a legal team, Musk replied without looking up. They won't expect me. That's because this is a terrible idea. Hammond has the best lawyers money can buy. Musk finally looked up, his eyes tired but determined. Sometimes, you have to do things yourself. Is this about your ego? Leia asked. Proving you're smarter than everyone else? No. Musk shook his head. It's about justice. And strategy. Leia sighed, unconvinced. What strategy involves going to court unprepared against professional attorneys? Musk smiled for the first time that night. Who said anything about being unprepared? He turned his notebook toward her. The pages were filled with precise notes, diagrams, and what looked like a timeline. I know exactly what I'm doing, he said quietly. Trust me. But as Leia looked at the determined face of her boss, she couldn't help but worry that this time, his famous confidence might be his downfall. What she didn't know was that Elon Musk had more than just notes and diagrams. He had a plan that would shock everyone, especially one very skeptical judge. Back in the courtroom, the first day of trial continued after lunch. Judge Thornwald straightened her black robes and checked her watch. Dominic Reeves had already set up his next visual aid, a large screen showing side-by-side comparisons of both companies' battery designs. As you can clearly see, Your Honor, Reeves said, pointing with a laser pointer, the similarities are undeniable. The internal structure, the cooling system, even the special coating, they're identical. From her elevated bench, Judge Thornwald nodded. Continue, Mr. Reeves. Magnatech spent millions developing this technology, Reeves continued, clicking to the next slide. Years of research led to this breakthrough. Then, just weeks after we filed our patent, Mr. Musk's company suddenly announced an identical product. In the gallery, reporters scribbled notes. This case had drawn media attention from around the world. Tech journalists, business reporters, and curious onlookers packed the rows of seats. We'd like to call our first witness, Reeves announced. Dr. Alan Murphy, Magnatech's head of research and development. A thin man with wire-rimmed glasses took the stand. After being sworn in, he settled nervously into the witness chair. Dr. Murphy, Reeves began, please explain to the court your role in developing this battery technology. I led the team that created the nano-coating, Murphy explained. It's the key innovation that allows for greater energy density and faster charging times. And when did you begin this work? Approximately 18 months ago, Murphy answered confidently. Judge Thornwald watched as Reeves guided his witness through a detailed explanation of the technology. The attorney was skilled, breaking down complex concepts into understandable chunks. The judge found herself impressed by both the lawyer and the technology. Occasionally, she glanced at Musk. He remained oddly calm, taking notes but raising few objections. Once, she caught him staring at a specific ceiling tile, seemingly lost in thought. "Mr. Musk," she interrupted sharply, "are you with us?" Musk blinked and focused on her. "Yes, Your Honor. Just considering the testimony." Judge Thornwald frowned. "Well, consider it more actively, please. This is your case, after all." A few people in the gallery chuckled. Judge Thornwald allowed herself a small smile. She had dealt with arrogant tech CEOs before, but usually, they at least pretended to take court proceedings seriously. The testimony continued with Reeves calling a patent expert who explained the filing process and timeline. Once again, the evidence seemed damning for Musk. "As you can see," the expert concluded, "Magnateka's filing predates any public mention of similar technology from Mr. Musk's company." Judge Thornwald noticed Musk writing something in his notebook. For a brief moment, she was curious about what strategy, if any, he was developing. Then, she dismissed the thought. He was clearly out of his depth. "Your Honor," Reeves said, "I'd like to present our next piece of evidence." An assistant wheeled in a covered object. With a dramatic flourish, Reeves removed the cloth to reveal a battery prototype. "This is the working prototype we developed before filing the patent," Reeves explained. "Created entirely by Magnateka's team." From her seat in the gallery, Leia stiffened. She leaned forward, studying the device, her eyes narrowing in recognition. Judge Thornwald noticed the young woman's reaction and made a mental note. Something about that prototype had triggered a response. "Would you like to examine the device, Your Honor?" Reeves offered. "Thank you, Mr. Reeves." Judge Thornwald took the prototype, turning it carefully in her hands. Despite her legal background, she had studied engineering in college. Something about the design seemed elegant, efficient. "Impressive," she admitted, returning the device. Reeves smiled, sensing victory. "Now, we'd like to call our final witness of the day, Victor Hammond, CEO of Magnatek." The tall, polished man Musk had met months ago strode confidently to the witness stand. After being sworn in, he sat with perfect posture, exuding confidence. "Mr. Hammond," Reeves began, "please tell the court about your company's commitment to innovation." Hammond launched into a well-rehearsed speech about Magnateka's history of breakthroughs. Judge Thornwald listened attentively, occasionally glancing at Musk to gauge his reaction. To her surprise, Musk was now fully engaged, watching Hammond with intense focus. There was something almost predatory in his gaze. For the first time, Judge Thornwald felt a flicker of doubt. Was there more to Musk's strategy than she had assumed? "Did you have any contact with Mr. Musk or his company prior to developing this technology?" Reeves asked Hammond. "Minimal," Hammond replied smoothly. "We had one brief meeting about potential collaboration, but nothing came of it." Judge Thornwald noticed a ghost of a smile cross Musk's face. When Hammond finished his testimony, Reeves approached the bench. "Your Honor, Mr. Musk now has the opportunity to cross-examine our witness." Judge Thornwald turned to Musk. "Mr. Musk, would you like to question Mr. Hammond?" Musk stood slowly. "Not at this time, Your Honor. I'll reserve my questions for later." Hammond looked surprised, then relieved. He stepped down from the witness stand, shooting a triumphant glance at Musk as he returned to his seat. "Very well," Judge Thornwald said, unable to hide her disappointment. She had expected at least some attempt at a defense. "Mr. Reeves, please continue." "Your Honor," Reeves said with confidence, "we've presented clear evidence that Magnatek developed and patented this technology first. Mr. Musk's company clearly copied our client's innovative design. The evidence speaks for itself." Judge Thornwald nodded, finding herself agreeing with Reeves's assessment. The case seemed straightforward. "Mr. Musk," she said, turning to the billionaire, "you'll have your chance to present your defense tomorrow. I suggest you prepare more thoroughly than you have today." Musk looked up from his notebook. "I appreciate your concern, Your Honor." Something in his tone made Judge Thornwald pause. There was a confidence there that didn't match his apparently weak position. As she prepared to adjourn for the day, she noticed Musk staring at that same spot on the wall again. "Mr. Musk, are you even paying attention?" she asked sharply. Musk turned to her with clear eyes. "Always, Your Honor. More than you might think." For some reason she couldn't explain, Judge Thornwald felt a chill run down her spine. Perhaps there was more to Elon Musk than met the eye. But what could he possibly have planned that would counter the mountain of evidence against him? "Court is adjourned until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning," Judge Thornwald announced, banging her gavel. As people filed out of the courtroom, Musk gathered his messy stack of papers. Dominic Reeves walked past, barely hiding his smug smile. "Better luck tomorrow, Musk," he said quietly, "though I doubt luck will be enough." Musk simply nodded. "See you tomorrow, Reeves." 20 minutes later, they sat in a rented office across from the courthouse. Musk had converted it into a temporary workspace with computers, whiteboards, and boxes of files. "What are we doing here?" Leia asked, watching Musk boot up a laptop. "Preparing," he answered. "I need you to access our building security logs from the day Hammond visited." "The security logs? Why?" "Just trust me." While Leia worked, Musk made a phone call. "It's me," he said to the person on the other end. "Are you ready for tomorrow?" He listened for a moment. "Good. Remember, timing is everything." Leia looked up from her computer. "I have the logs." "What now?" "Find all footage of Hammond and his team. I want every second they were in our building." For hours, they combed through security videos. Leia gasped when she spotted what Musk was looking for. There, she pointed at the screen. Hammond's assistant was taking photos in the restricted area. Musk nodded. "And here," he said, forwarding to another clip. "Hammond himself looking through the lab window after I told him that area was off limits. This proves they were spying," Leia said excitedly. "But is it enough to win the case?" "Not by itself," Musk admitted. "We need more." He pulled out his phone and sent a text. Within minutes, it buzzed with a response. Musk smiled as he read it. "What?" Leia asked. "Let's just say I've been working on this case longer than Hammond realizes." As midnight approached, Musk was still preparing. He had assembled what looked like a small electronic device on the desk. "What's that?" Leia asked, yawning. "A demonstration," Musk replied. "For tomorrow. Shouldn't you be working on your legal arguments instead?" Musk looked up, a glint in his eye. Sometimes, the best legal argument isn't a legal argument at all. Morning came too quickly. Back in the courtroom, Judge Thornwald called the session to order. "Mr. Musk, are you ready to present your defense?" she asked, expecting the same fumbling performance as yesterday. Musk stood. "Actually, Your Honor, I'd like to request a one-day recess." Surprised murmurs rippled through the courtroom. Judge Thornwald frowned. "A recess? On what grounds?" "I need to reconsider my approach," Musk said, sounding defeated. "Given the strong case against me." More whispers. Reeves couldn't hide his triumphant smile. Judge Thornwald studied Musk's face. Was he finally admitting defeat? Or was this part of some strategy she couldn't see? "Your Honor," Reeves interrupted, "we object to this delay." Mr. Musk had ample time to prepare his defense. "I understand," Musk said quickly, "but after yesterday's testimony, I realize I may need professional assistance." Laughter rippled through the gallery. Judge Thornwald allowed herself a small smile. So he was finally admitting he needed a lawyer. "While I'm tempted to deny your request, Mr. Musk," she said, "I'll grant a one-day recess. But don't waste our time tomorrow." "Thank you, Your Honor," Musk said, bowing his head slightly. As the courtroom emptied, Reeves approached Musk. "Finally realized you're out of your depth?" he asked. "Something like that," Musk replied. Back at their temporary office, Leia paced anxiously. "I don't understand. Why did you ask for a delay when we spent all night preparing?" "Because," Musk explained, typing rapidly on his laptop, "I want them overconfident. Hammond thinks I'm giving up." "But what are we actually doing today?" Leia demanded. "Two things," Musk said, not looking up. "First, we're finishing this." He pointed to the electronic device they'd worked on last night. "And second," Musk finally looked up, his expression serious. "We're meeting someone important." Later that afternoon, a woman arrived at their office. She was in her early 40s, with dark hair pulled back in a tight bun. She looked nervous. "Ms. Nair," Musk greeted her. "Thank you for coming." "I'm risking my career being here," the woman said quietly. "I know," Musk replied. "But it's the right thing to do." Leia looked confused. "Who is she?" "Priya Nair," Musk explained. "Until last week, she was Magnateka's head of research and development." Leia's eyes widened. "Wait, Dr. Murphy." "Murphy was promoted after I left," Priya explained. "I couldn't stay after what Hammond asked us to do." For the next hour, Musk and Priya talked quietly while Leia finished their electronic demonstration. As evening fell, Musk seemed more confident than ever. "Are you sure about this?" Leia asked as they packed up. "It's unorthodox, even for you." Musk smiled, his eyes reflecting the glow of his computer screen. "Sometimes, innovation isn't just about technology." "That's not an answer," Leia sighed. "Trust me," Musk said, closing his laptop. "By this time tomorrow, Judge Thornwald won't be laughing anymore." That night, while Hammond and Reeves celebrated their seemingly inevitable victory with expensive whiskey, Elon Musk made one final preparation for the next day's court session, a simple cardboard box that would change everything. Morning arrived with a buzz of excitement around the courthouse. News of Musk's requested recess had spread, with many speculating that he was preparing to surrender. Reporters crowded the steps, cameras ready. "Mr. Musk, have you hired an attorney? Will you settle with Magnatech? Are you giving up the case?" Musk walked through them without answering, the cardboard box tucked under his arm. Leia followed close behind, her face a mask of calm that hid her nervousness. Inside, the courtroom was packed. Victor Hammond sat confidently at the plaintiff's table, whispering with Reeves. They both looked up when Musk entered, eyeing the box with curiosity. "What's he up to now?" Hammond muttered. "Probably his surrender terms," Reeves replied with a smirk. Judge Thornwald entered, and everyone stood as she took her seat. She noticed Musk looked different today. Gone was the fumbling, distracted demeanor. Instead, he stood straight, his eyes clear and focused. "Court is now in session," she announced. "Mr. Musk, yesterday you requested time to reconsider your approach. Have you decided to seek legal counsel?" "No, Your Honor," Musk replied, his voice stronger than before. "I'll continue representing myself." Judge Thornwald sighed dramatically. "Very well. Are you ready to present your defense?" "I am, Your Honor. But first, I'd like to call a surprise witness." A murmur swept through the courtroom. Reeves jumped to his feet. "Objection. We received no notice of additional witnesses." Judge Thornwald frowned. "Mr. Musk, this isn't a TV drama. That's not how real court proceedings work." "I understand, Your Honor," Musk replied calmly. "But these are special circumstances. My witness only came forward yesterday after seeing Magnateka's testimony. Judge Thornwald studied Musk's face. There was something different about him today, a quiet confidence she hadn't seen before. This better be good, she warned. Who is this witness? Priya Nair, former head of research and development at Magnatech. The name sent a visible shock through the Magnatech team. Hammond's face paled. Reeves stood again, his composure slipping. Objection. Ms. Nair is bound by a confidentiality agreement with Magnatech. She cannot testify about company matters. That's not entirely accurate, Musk countered. Ms. Nair's agreement has exceptions for illegal activity, which is precisely what she wishes to address. The room fell silent. Judge Thornwald leaned forward, her interest piqued despite herself. Mr. Reeves, your objection is noted but overruled. I'll allow the witness. She turned to Musk. This better be relevant, Mr. Musk. It is, Your Honor. Thank you. A court officer opened the door, and Priya Nair entered. She looked nervous but determined as she took the oath and settled into the witness stand. Ms. Nair, Musk began, until recently, what was your position at Magnatech? I was head of research and development for 8 years, she replied, her voice steady despite her obvious tension. And why did you leave? Priya took a deep breath. I resigned last week due to ethical concerns about the battery technology at issue in this case. Another murmur swept through the courtroom. Hammond was now whispering urgently to Reeves. Could you elaborate on those concerns? Musk asked. The technology wasn't developed by Magnatech, Priya stated clearly. We were ordered to reverse engineer Mr. Musk's prototype after Mr. Hammond visited his facility. The courtroom erupted. Judge Thornwald banged her gavel repeatedly. Order. Order in the court. When quiet returned, Reeves was on his feet again, his face flushed with anger. Your Honor, these are baseless accusations. Where is the proof? An excellent question, Judge Thornwald agreed, turning to Musk. Do you have evidence to support this testimony? I do, Your Honor. Musk finally opened his mysterious cardboard box. From it, he removed a laptop and a small device. Ms. Nair, he continued, did Mr. Hammond specifically instruct your team to copy my design? Yes, she answered firmly. After his visit to your facility, he called an emergency meeting. He showed us photos his assistant had taken and told us to recreate the technology as quickly as possible. Hammond's face had gone from pale to red. He scribbled something and pushed it toward Reeves. And what about Dr. Murphy, who testified yesterday? Musk asked. Did he play a role? Alan was promoted to my position after I questioned the ethics of what we were doing, Priya explained. He was willing to go along with Hammond's plan. Reeves stood again. Your Honor, this is hearsay and speculation. Is it? Musk asked calmly. He connected his laptop to the courtroom's display system. With the court's permission, I'd like to show some evidence. Judge Thornwald nodded, now fully engaged. Proceed, Mr. Musk. The screen lit up with security footage from Musk's facility. It clearly showed Hammond's assistant taking photos in restricted areas and Hammond himself peering through windows he had been told were off-limits. This proves nothing, Reeves argued. Looking isn't stealing. Perhaps not, Musk agreed. But this might be more convincing. He clicked to the next file, emails between Hammond and Priya discussing how to repurpose Musk's design. Reeves stared at the screen in shock. Where did you get those? Ms. Nair provided them, Musk explained. Along with these. The next images showed side-by-side comparisons of internal components, Musk's original designs and Magnatech's copies. They were identical. Judge Thornwald's expression had transformed completely. The skepticism was gone, replaced by growing shock as the evidence mounted. Your Honor, Musk said, there's more. Ms. Nair has provided internal memos showing that Magnatech had no similar technology in development before Hammond's visit to my facility. Their entire claim is fraudulent. Hammond could no longer contain himself. This is a setup, he shouted, rising from his chair. You can't believe this. Mr. Hammond, Judge Thornwald warned, control yourself, or I'll have you removed. The atmosphere in the courtroom had shifted dramatically. Now, it was Reeves who looked flustered and unprepared, while Musk appeared calm and in control. Judge Thornwald turned to Priya. Ms. Nair, you understand the seriousness of your testimony. You're accusing Magnatech of corporate espionage and fraud. I do, Your Honor, Priya replied. That's why I resigned. I couldn't be part of it anymore. As the morning session continued, Judge Thornwald found herself watching Musk with new eyes. The bumbling, distracted man from yesterday was gone. In his place stood someone precise and methodical, someone who had apparently planned this moment from the beginning. Had it all been an act? Had he deliberately appeared unprepared to lull Magnatech into overconfidence? Whatever the truth, one thing was certain, Judge Beatrick Thornwald was no longer laughing at Elon Musk. As the morning session continued, Judge Thornwald found herself watching Musk with new eyes. The bumbling, distracted man from yesterday was gone. In his place stood someone precise and methodical, someone who had apparently planned this moment from the beginning. Had it all been an act? Had he deliberately appeared unprepared to lull Magnatech into overconfidence? Whatever the truth, one thing was certain, Judge Beatrick Thornwald was no longer laughing at Elon Musk. Ms. Nair, Musk continued, could you tell the court exactly what happened after Mr. Hammond returned from his visit to my facility? Priya Nair sat straight in the witness chair, her hands folded in her lap. She had been Magnatech's star scientist for almost a decade. Now, she was their worst nightmare. Mr. Hammond called an emergency meeting that same afternoon, she began. He was extremely excited. He showed us photos his assistant had taken secretly during the tour and said he'd seen a gold mine of ideas. In the plaintiff's section, Hammond's face darkened. He scribbled a note and slid it to Reeves, who shook his head slightly. Did he specifically mention my energy storage technology? Musk asked. Yes. He was particularly interested in the nanocoating. He said it was the key to making batteries hold more power for longer periods. And what did he ask your team to do? He told us to drop everything else and focus on recreating what he'd seen. His exact words were, I want this technology before Musk can patent it. A murmur swept through the courtroom. Judge Thornwald leaned forward, completely absorbed in the testimony. This was not at all what she had expected when the day began. Did you raise any concerns about this directive? Musk continued. Priya nodded. I told Mr. Hammond that what he was suggesting sounded like corporate espionage. I suggested we pursue a legitimate partnership instead. And how did he respond? He said, and I quote, why pay for what we can take for free? Another ripple of reaction spread through the gallery. Hammond was now red-faced with anger. That's a lie, he shouted, unable to contain himself. She's making this up. Mr. Hammond, Judge Thornwald warned sharply, one more outburst, and I'll have you removed from my courtroom. Musk remained calm, seemingly unaffected by the drama. Ms. Nair, do you have any evidence to support your testimony? Yes, she replied. I kept notes from all our meetings. I also saved emails and text messages where these directives were given. Your Honor, Musk addressed the judge, I'd like to enter these documents into evidence. He handed a folder to the court clerk, who passed it to Judge Thornwald. She opened it and began reviewing the contents, her expression growing more serious with each page. Reeves finally recovered enough to stand. Your Honor, these documents should be inadmissible. They contain proprietary Magnatech information that Ms. Nair had no right to remove from the company. Actually, Musk countered, according to Magnatech's own employment contract. which I've included in that folder. Employees are both protected and obligated to report potential illegal activities. Ms. Nair was acting within her rights. Judge Thornwald nodded. I'm inclined to agree with Mr. Musk on this point. The documents are admitted. Reeves sat down heavily, looking stunned. Hammond was now whispering urgently to one of his assistants, who quickly left the courtroom. Ms. Nair, Musk continued, what happened after you expressed these concerns? I was gradually sidelined. Tasks were reassigned. Then, 2 weeks ago, Alan Murphy was promoted to my position, and I was transferred to a different department. Did that surprise you? No. I'd already started looking for another job because I couldn't ethically continue at Magnatech. When they transferred me, I resigned immediately. One final question, Musk said. Did Magnatech have any similar energy storage technology in development before Hammond's visit to my facility? No, Priya stated firmly. We were working on completely different approaches. Our research was at least 2 years away from anything close to your design. Thank you, Ms. Nair. Musk turned to the judge. Your Honor, I'd like to present one more piece of evidence before Mr. Reeves cross-examines the witness. Judge Thornwald nodded. Proceed. Musk placed his small electronic device on the evidence table. This is a demonstration unit I created to illustrate how Magnatech's supposedly original design is actually a copy of mine. He activated the device, which projected a holographic display showing both designs layer by layer. As each component appeared, the identical nature of the technologies became impossible to deny. As you can see, Musk explained, even the internal arrangement of components is identical. The chances of two teams independently creating such similar designs are essentially zero. The courtroom had fallen completely silent. The evidence was overwhelming. Your Honor, Reeves said, finally rising again, we request a brief recess to consult with our client. Judge Thornwald checked her watch. We'll break for lunch. Court will reconvene at 1 o'clock. As the gallery emptied, Leia rushed to Musk's side. That was amazing, she whispered. Did you see Hammond's face? Musk nodded slightly, keeping his expression neutral. We're not done yet. In the hallway, reporters swarmed around both parties. Reeves pushed through without comment, Hammond close behind him, a security guard blocking cameras. Mr. Musk, a reporter called out, was your confused performance yesterday an act? Musk merely smiled. No comment. In a private conference room, Reeves faced Hammond across the table. This is bad, Victor. Really bad. She's lying. Hammond insisted, pacing the room. It's her word against mine. It's her word plus emails, texts, and documents against yours, Reeves corrected him. Not to mention the visual evidence of the copied technology. We need to settle this now. No. I won't give him the satisfaction. You might not have a choice, Reeves warned. If this continues, we're looking at more than losing a patent case. This could become a criminal matter. Hammond stopped pacing. What are you saying? I'm saying corporate espionage is a crime. So is perjury, which you committed yesterday when you downplayed your meeting with Musk. Hammond's face paled. You're my lawyer. Fix this. I'm trying to, Reeves replied grimly. But you need to accept reality. Musk outplayed us. Meanwhile, in another conference room, Judge Thornwald sat alone, reviewing the morning's evidence. 30 years on the bench had taught her to spot liars, and Priya Nair was telling the truth. The emails and documents corroborated her testimony perfectly. The judge found herself reassessing Elon Musk. She had dismissed him as an arrogant amateur, but now she wondered if she'd been the amateur all along. His strategy, appearing unprepared while gathering devastating evidence, was brilliant. When court reconvened, the tension was palpable. Reeves approached Musk before the judge arrived. My client is willing to discuss settlement terms, he said quietly. I'm not interested in settling, Musk replied. Don't be stubborn. We can make this go away quietly. That's not why I'm here. Before Reeves could respond, Judge Thornwald entered, and everyone stood. Before we continue, she announced, I want to clarify something. Ms. Nair, your testimony suggests not just patent infringement but potentially criminal activity. Do you understand the seriousness of these allegations? I do, Your Honor, Priya replied. That's why I resigned my position and came forward. It was the right thing to do. Judge Thornwald nodded. Mr. Reeves, you may cross-examine the witness. Reeves approached the stand, his earlier confidence gone. Ms. Nair, isn't it true that you were passed over for promotion several times at Magnatech? No, she replied calmly. I was offered promotions twice and declined them to stay in research. And you're not bitter about Mr. Murphy's promotion? I was relieved. It meant I was no longer responsible for a project I believed was unethical. Reeves tried several more angles, but Priya remained unshaken. Her testimony was clear, consistent, and damning. When Reeves finally sat down, Judge Thornwald turned to Musk. Do you have any more witnesses, Mr. Musk? No, Your Honor. Ms. Nair's testimony and the evidence I presented speak for themselves. Judge Thornwald nodded thoughtfully. They certainly do. As the afternoon session continued, one thing became abundantly clear to everyone in the courtroom: Elon Musk hadn't just prepared for this case. He had orchestrated every moment of it. And he was far from finished. Your Honor, Musk said, rising from his seat, I'd now like to address the legal remedy I'm seeking. Judge Thornwald nodded. Proceed, Mr. Musk. Musk walked to the center of the courtroom, no longer the fumbling figure from the first day. He moved with purpose, his voice clear and confident. Based on the evidence presented, I'm not just asking for Magnatech's patent to be invalidated. I'm requesting a specific legal remedy outlined in the Technological Innovation Protection Act of 2018. A puzzled look crossed Reeves's face. Judge Thornwald also appeared curious. Section 47B of that act, Musk continued, states that in cases where corporate espionage is proven, the court may issue an order preventing the offending party from developing similar technology for up to 5 years. The courtroom fell silent. Even Judge Thornwald appeared taken aback. Mr. Musk, she said, leaning forward, I'm familiar with technology patent law, but I don't recall that specific provision. It's relatively obscure, Your Honor, Musk acknowledged. It was added as an amendment during the bill's final passage. Few cases have invoked it. He handed a document to the court clerk, who passed it to the judge. She studied it carefully, her eyebrows rising slightly. He's right, she murmured, almost to herself. Reeves jumped to his feet. Your Honor, this is preposterous. Such a remedy would effectively lock Magnatech out of an entire market segment. That's precisely the point, Musk responded calmly. The law was designed to create serious consequences for corporate espionage. Otherwise, companies would simply treat legal penalties as a cost of doing business. Judge Thornwald was now nodding slightly as she read through the statute. The language is quite clear, she admitted. In cases of proven corporate espionage related to technological innovation, the court may issue a development prohibition order. Hammond whispered urgently to Reeves, who looked increasingly distressed. Your Honor, Reeves said, we need time to review this statute and prepare a response. That seems reasonable, Judge Thornwald agreed. We'll adjourn for today and reconvene tomorrow morning. She turned to Musk. I must say, Mr. Musk, I'm impressed by your knowledge of patent law. Thank you, Your Honor, Musk replied with a small smile. I've been studying. As the courtroom began to empty, Reeves approached Musk again, his manner now almost pleading. Be reasonable, Musk. A 5-year ban would devastate Magnatech's energy division. You should have thought of that before stealing my technology, Musk replied simply. In the gallery, Leia watched the exchange with wide eyes. When Musk joined her, she couldn't contain her amazement. How did you find that law? She whispered as they left the courtroom. I've never heard of it. Because most lawyers haven't either, Musk explained. I spent weeks researching obscure patent statutes. When I found this one, I knew it was perfect. Outside the courthouse, reporters once again swarmed around them. Mr. Musk, is it true you're asking for Magnatech to be banned from the energy storage market? Was your confused act just a strategy to catch them off guard? No comment, Musk repeated, pushing through the crowd. Back at their temporary office, Leia's excitement bubbled over. You were amazing in there. Hammond looked like he was going to pass out when you mentioned that law. Musk allowed himself a small smile. The case isn't over yet. But it's going our way now, Leia insisted. Judge Thornwald is totally on your side. She's doing her job, Musk corrected. Judges don't take sides. They follow the law. Which you happen to know better than Magnatech's expensive lawyers. Leia laughed. Musk's phone buzzed with a text message. He read it, and his expression turned serious. What is it? Leia asked. Hammond's people have been calling Brilliance, Musk said. Threatening her. That's witness intimidation. We should tell the judge. We will, Musk assured her. Tomorrow. The next morning, the courtroom was packed. News of the latest developments had spread, and the atmosphere was electric. Reporters whispered, analysts speculated, and even Judge Thornwald seemed eager to get to the heart of the matter. She banged her gavel. Court is now in session. Mr. Musk, you mentioned witness intimidation. Do you have evidence to support this claim? Musk stood. Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Nair received multiple threatening phone calls and messages last night. We've traced the source of at least 2 of those calls back to a phone registered to Magnatech's legal department. The courtroom erupted in whispers. Reeves shot to his feet. Your Honor, these accusations are baseless. Musk turned to the clerk. Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to submit call records and voice recordings. Judge Thornwald nodded. Proceed. Musk handed over a folder, and the clerk distributed copies. The judge skimmed through the documents, her frown deepening. Mr. Reeves, do you wish to respond? Reeves took a deep breath. Your Honor, even if these calls came from a phone linked to Magnatech, that doesn't mean my client was involved. Then let's ask him directly, Musk said smoothly. Mr. Hammond, did you authorize these threats? Hammond clenched his jaw, but before he could answer, Judge Thornwald spoke. I will remind everyone that witness intimidation is a serious offense. If I find out anyone in this courtroom was involved, I will not hesitate to take action. Musk nodded. Thank you, Your Honor. However, I believe we should move forward with the primary issue at hand, the development prohibition order. Agreed, Judge Thornwald said. Mr. Reeves, have you had time to review the statute Mr. Musk cited? Reeves nodded. We have, Your Honor, and we argue that the law is being misapplied. The provision Musk is referencing applies only in cases where the theft of technology has been conclusively proven in a criminal court. This is a civil case. Musk stepped forward. Your Honor, the law does specify criminal conviction in some sections, but in this particular clause, the language states that a development prohibition order can be issued if clear and convincing evidence of technological theft is presented. Judge Thornwald flipped through the legal documents in front of her. He's correct. Reeves's face paled. Your Honor, even if we assume for a moment that the theft took place, which we do not concede, issuing a 5-year ban would devastate my client's business and employees. So would allowing Magnatech to profit off stolen technology, Musk countered. The purpose of this law is to discourage corporate theft. If companies think they can just pay a fine and continue operating, there's no real deterrent. Judge Thornwald leaned back in her chair. I understand both arguments. Given the significance of the request, I will take this matter under advisement and issue a ruling tomorrow. She banged her gavel. Court is adjourned until then. As the courtroom emptied, Musk remained seated, staring at the judge's bench. Leia nudged him. You think she'll rule in our favor? Musk exhaled. We'll find out soon enough. The next morning, the courtroom was silent with anticipation as Judge Thornwald took her seat. She tapped her gavel once and looked out over the packed room. Before I deliver my ruling, I want to commend both parties for presenting their arguments thoroughly, she began. That said, this case involves not just patent law but also serious ethical and legal concerns. I have reviewed all submitted evidence, including the testimony of Ms. Nair, the security footage, and the internal communications from Magnatech. A tense silence gripped the room. Judge Thornwald adjusted her glasses. Mr. Musk has demonstrated clear and convincing evidence that Magnatech engaged in corporate espionage. This court finds that the technology in question was unlawfully obtained from Musk Innovations. A wave of murmurs rippled through the courtroom. Hammond's face turned an alarming shade of red, while Reeves stared straight ahead, his jaw clenched. Judge Thornwald continued. Given the severity of these findings, I am granting Mr. Musk's request for a development prohibition order. Effective immediately, Magnatech is barred from producing, selling, or further developing any energy storage technology derived from this stolen design for a period of 5 years. The courtroom erupted. Gasps filled the air as reporters scrambled to type their notes. Leia grabbed Musk's arm, whispering, "We did it." Hammond shot to his feet. "Your Honor, this is outrageous. You can't." Judge Thornwald's gavel came down sharply. "Sit down, Mr. Hammond." Hammond fell back into his seat, breathing heavily. Reeves, his expression tight, stood. "Your Honor, we intend to appeal." "That is your right, Mr. Reeves," Judge Thornwald replied. "But based on the evidence, I do not anticipate any higher court overturning this decision. I suggest your client consider his next steps carefully." Musk remained still, watching Hammond with a level gaze. The once arrogant Magnatech CEO was now a man scrambling for a lifeline. With that, this court is adjourned. Judge Thornwald banged her gavel one last time. As the courtroom emptied, reporters swarmed toward Musk, but he simply turned to Leia. "Let's go." Outside, the bright California sun greeted them. Leia grinned. "So, was this your plan all along? Playing the clueless billionaire just to catch them off guard?" Musk smirked. "Let's just say, sometimes the best way to win a game is to let your opponent think you don't know the rules." As they walked away, the cameras flashed, and the headlines practically wrote themselves, "Elon Musk outsmarts Magnatech in stunning courtroom victory." But for Musk, this wasn't just about winning a case, it was about proving that innovation should be protected, not stolen. And he had done just that. Subscribe and hit the bell for more updates from 30 Minds.